shit's in the safe. Got me a spot out the way. Nigga just tryna be safe.
Let's get to the sports talk.
Freddie Kitchens.
I think so. And I want to be very clear about what I'm saying. I am not saying that Freddie Kitchens may not end up a good coach. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the potential to be a good coach. I am saying that at this point in time, when you look at the roster as presently constructed and the expectations that have been heaped on them because of what Baker Mayfield showed you last year, the addition of Odell Beckham Jr., Njoku and how he was expected to perform before he got hurt, Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb, who had a good game yesterday, etc. Kareem Hunt coming on 8 games in. When you consider all the things that have happened with this franchise, why would you put a rookie head coach in this position? That's what I'm challenging the Cleveland Browns on. I'm saying that when you look at the Cleveland Browns and you look at Dorsey and the moves that he made, Freddie Kitchens went from a positional coach to an offensive coordinator to a head coach in the National Football League inside of 12 months. When the hell does that happen? That simply does not happen. And so now to me, it's a sign of chickens coming home to roost per se. Because what happens is that what you're seeing is a talented team who has the ability to explode, make noise, make things interesting. But when it comes to finishing the job, there's always a play here, an individual who was ignored, a particular play that should have been called, the discipline of the team, the focus, the mindset coming into the game, all of these different things that veteran coaches who have been around long enough can help alleviate. You don't have that because you have players learning how to play with one another for a coach who's literally learning on the job. So I just want to say that I think that Freddie Kitchens has potential. I've liked some of his play calling this early part of the season, despite the fact that some of it worked, some of it has not. But when I look at him, I look at a guy that is learning on the job. And you owe that to a roster like this. You owe it to them to have a more experienced coach in tow. And that's not
I would say this, the early returns don't look good. We can't say they look good, but it's too early to say that they made a mistake. Look at what's going on with the Browns, and I look at John Dorsey. Whenever you look, he got the big stuff really great, right? Like, oh my God, the skills position guys, look at this. By the way, on defense,
I know they should be 2-4. That's why I say your coaching staff had to be right. You have a good roster that can get to a playoff and win. But right now, it's up and down. You put a rookie coach in a position with a good roster, don't know how to put everything together, don't know how to keep it all together. He don't know how to put it all together to win. They should be 2-4. It's up to them to make adjustments as well. But at the same time, Baker Mayfield is having a sophomore slump. You can't overlook that. And it ain't helping the team. The team go as the quarterback goes. 5 touchdowns, and I think 11 interceptions. That ain't good. He got to be better than that. That's why you bring in an experienced coach to know how to structure this roster, know how to use players. Some of them plays wasn't on Baker, but he got to be more protected of the football. It's up to Freddie to put these players in the right position to win, right position to make plays. It haven't. But also he needs quarterback to play well. And he haven't. He having a sophomore slump. You put Freddie Kitchens in a tough position. You gave him a coaching job in 12 months. It seems like he ain't ready for this job. But he's going to be a good coach. I can see some of the plays he had are good, but some of them don't work. Some of his play calling be iffy sometimes. But it's up to him too to get the players in the right position. And it's up to Baker to play well. Because As he ain't playing well, the Browns ain't playing well because they should be 2-4.
The skillful, the secondary of guys who, by the way, weren't playing yesterday because of injury. But you look around the roster, but the details seem to have escaped him so far, and maybe that's step two. Maybe it's, look, let me get the big pieces right, and then we'll figure out the details as we move forward because they have a young roster. Give them the benefit of the doubt. But Kitchens was a questionable hire. It hasn't looked great so far. They barely lost to a very tough Seattle team, I might add. That was a tough game, and Seattle has one loss on the season. When GMs do the following, a lot of times it doesn't work out well, period. Certainly not in the beginning. You have a talented, special kind of offensive line player, not a sexy name. They swap them out for a skills position guy. Doesn't go too well. I think about Max Unger for Jimmy Graham. What happened to the Saints? What happened to Seattle? What happened? It was a disaster for Seattle, really, when you look at it. You look at Whitworth, who just signed with the Rams. He left the Bengals. Bengals didn't want to pay him, signed with the Rams. What happened to the Bengals? Fell apart. It was a playoff team. What happened to the Rams? They were suddenly excellent. That's not all Whitworth, but he had something to do with that, right? Look at the Odell trade. When you step back and expand it, you forget that early on, the first piece of that trade was Zeitler going to New York. They don't protect well. And Greg Robinson, by the way, replaced really Joe Thomas on that line. That's a real huge downgrade. So they have line problems. We knew that was going to be an issue, especially early in the season, because the new guys have to learn how to play together, and they had a very tough schedule. Then you add to that Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward not playing. By the way, they have a bye, and it's pulls it like hamstring stuff. They should be back the following week. Considering the trajectory of the team, think of their week one against the Titans, how bad they looked, versus how competitive they've been against better teams since then. Their schedule, injury, the line play coming together, it's a little too early because my prediction is still they're going to get white hot towards the end of this season.
I am not advocating that Freddie Kitchens should be fired. I am saying he wasn't the right coach to be picked for this team this season.
Okay, but what's the answer then?
I'm just saying, you have to deal with the circumstances that you created. But I'm not saying that a man deserves to be fired after 6 games into his first year as head coach, and particularly not this guy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in hindsight, as we look at what ails this team, I think he was the wrong coach at this moment in time. That doesn't mean he won't be the right coach by the beginning of next season and moving forward.
I want to get into the Baker
I'm just
point.
saying they made the choice. And Max, I'm saying they would have been better off keeping Greg Williams
I agree.
as the coach for this season.
By the way,
that's what I'm saying.
How often do we see that in sports where the interim coach is doing well, they've made up their minds he's going to be an interim coach? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
For some reasons, it works with quarterbacks. A quarterback, if you go undefeated with a quarterback, it's happening right now.
By the way, the same Greg Williams that beat the Cowboys yesterday is the defensive coordinator for the Jets. But
I want to get into Baker Mayfield for a second. And I want to get into the Rex Ryan sound. Mm-hmm. When Rex Ryan was critical of Baker went back at him. I was fine with that. But the one thing he said that I was like, that's extra. You don't need to go there. That's why I'm only worried about people wearing these colors. I'm not worried about anyone else's colors. And right now, he's not wearing anyone's colors. What's that? Talking about Rex Ryan.
I get it. Rex Ryan coming at you. You don't need to be worrying about that. You need to worry about how you gonna fix your game. How you gonna protect the football. How you gonna get this team out of this hole and help this team win on out. They're trying to make the playoffs over a decade. You gotta block out the outside noise. You too focused on what they saying. Of course you're gonna hear what they saying. Right now, you ain't playing well. 5 touchdowns and 11 picks. You don't need to be focused on the outside noise. You need to focus on, we are 2-4. I'm not playing well. I'm having a sophomore slump. I need to figure out how to get this team out of this hole. I need to figure out how to have this team win more games. If Freddie need to talk to you, sit down and talk to you and tell you, don't worry about the outside noise right now. You need to focus on what's going on right now. This bad week, you need to be focused. Forget the outside noise. You too focused on that. You're not focused on what's going on the field. You don't see how you playing right now? You're a way better quarterback than that, Baker. When you focus on too much other things and not focus on that one job, it's going to show, and it did show on the field half of this season. You can't focus on that outside noise. It's always going to be outside noise and always going to be media talking. I think you're a bad quarterback right now. It look like that. Because you're going through a slump right now. You got new pieces there. You got Odell Beckham there. You got Landry there who been there with you last year. But you don't know how to operate this offense right now. There's a lot going on around that organization right now. And you just have to be focused on the field.
Rex Ryan's an analyst. He was correctly critical, you could think overboard in certain respects, but of your play. Why are you going at him like that? You're saying, I'm a Baker Mayfield fan, but to me that was a little red flag, like he can't, like why is he deflecting blame? To Rex Ryan's point, why is he saying, don't look over there? If you're the quarterback, you should say, no, look at me. I'm not playing well. I should be playing better. Because Baker Mayfield's capable of playing better.
But we can't have it both ways. And what I mean by that is we can't sit up there and continuously defer or refer to individuals. I'm not talking about Baker Mayfield in general. We religiously point out youth and how folks are young and they got to learn. Baker Mayfield is in his second year. Rex Ryan is not wrong with what he's saying. It's just that for a young guy with his personality, one that he had in college, it stands to reason that he's not going to say everything PC or everything. We got to understand that and let that slide because you knew what you were getting when you got him. He just has to play better.
Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app, and for live